YouTube, what is up? We're back for the second installment. I don't know what we're going to call these or title these. I mean, I know I announced on my last one that I'm doing that 100 miles for mental health. And previously all the videos and the campaigns towards it were geared towards the eco trail. Here, Foz, look, come here. Get off that. Here. Sorry, right on a walk on the grounds of Kilberry House and Gardens on the farm trails. And I'm not going to lie, it's deadly because we've had an influx of bad weather this weekend and the trails are absolutely destroyed. So obviously in Kilberry, we're pretty much at a real big gradient, especially if you go from the Sugarloaf, the little Sugarloaf. I think like a total elevation there of 200 meters. But like when you're walking the ground, it's like up and then a trail loop, then it's like up. So obviously water is traveling down and it all leads to one spot. And when you come into the House of Gardens or the farm trails, when you key in, you come across like a little river and it's flooded. And I've just passed a handful of people trying to walk their dogs and they've turned back because it's really flooded. But fucking Fozzie and I are cute. He just fucking went right through it and I said, you know what? I'm nimble enough for a fat lad, I'll climb the fence around it. So we climbed on the fence and here we are. So I'm hoping the trails will be empty for Fozzie and I. But that's here nor there. I think there's a nice bit of talking to do because a couple of things have happened from the last or the start of the YouTube return. To kind of allude and go back to what we're going to call these, I'm not too sure. I don't just keep on titling them like 100 miles for mental health, week 1, vlog, whatever. Might try and come up with, you know, hashtag 100 and then miles for mental health, just an abbreviation. And I'll think of some stupid, witty title like The Redemption or Drowning in Sorrows on this one. Or Reel It In. Or something like that. It's raining, it's pouring, the old man is snoring. Anywho, we're thinking of stupid shit right now. So, we're out on the trail. There's been a couple of things that have happened. First and foremost, YouTube has been quiet and I like it when it's quiet. Because I feel this is a quiet moment for me to go and walk the dog, clear the head, voice something that maybe voicing to people they might, you know, question and challenge. And in this point of time, I'm not in that mood to be questioned and challenged. So that's why I like portraying and waffling a load of shit to this, because I just get a chat and no one gets a bounce back. I've tried my best to use the wireless mic that I acquired and I've somehow fluffed it and I can't get it to work now because I thought in my own head it was going to be a funny intro. I was going to do different little scenes of me behind trees, and if we got up to the paintballing place I'd be sitting on top of things and I'd try and edit it, but didn't work. I brought the tripod that I bought and everything off Amazon and the mic won't fucking work. So here we are, and I don't know if I can show you this because I'm on cinematic is my video, but I'm going to try and show you this now, and Fozzie's going to go right through it, but we're coming. There he is. There he goes into the puddle, and I'm going to walk around it now, but if I can show you the water, all the water running down. I'm wearing my trail shoes, but I probably should have worn my boots. Shit, it is what it is. Where's the best bet to go here? Fuck you, Foz. He's running and licking the water at the same time and he's getting sick. Very funny. Yeah, I've got a feeling I'm gonna get my old toes wet here. And I hate that. Into the middle. Laughing. Right. Yeah, so right in the walk. Yeah, so I had good intentions of the tripod and the mic. Put the L mic like I did on the last one. So I'm hoping you guys will be able to hear me. And it's not too bad, but oh, he's the happiest man alive. But yeah, here we are. So, news is, I've had a bit of a kick up the hole. We're coming out fast. I had a bit of a kick up the hole. My friend of mine, Darragh, who is my coach and coached me to the eco, and who is like the course coordinator, I don't know what you will, director of this kind of mad challenge marathon, ultra marathon I'm going to be doing. He is now back on board as a coach. That is it. I was going to kind of go into a bit more personal details there, but I'm trying to better myself by saying less and doing more, and maybe sharing things in the right time and stuff like that. But by God, lads, if you knew what's going on behind the background from a personal standpoint, I'm fighting fucking severe waves of demons right now. All good, nothing to worry. I'm just learning life in later age, or years, you know, turning 30, and I supposedly some form of guidance that I didn't receive in my youthful years, and no fault of anyone's, but maybe lessons and learnings have maybe gone over my head, and unfortunately I've been caught out in the later years and parameters of life, and I'm figuring out when I'm trying to get my shit together, and it's just been stressful. I've gone through a couple of months of being good, set on my feet, and then bang, I've hit a roadblock. But again, that's enough of that. Darragh's on board. It's been our first week of training. Where it comes in with him is, and where I got to kick up the hole, is last weekend on the 12th of April. I had taken 9 days off work. I took annual leave for last weekend because I was going down to support and crew for Dazman, or as the other lads call him, Burnsy. I like to call Darragh Daz. For doing Hellevation. It's a backyard ultra, and it is the Munster one, the Munster region, the Munster backyard. So I was travelling down to that on Saturday to crew for him. I had ideas of doing it at the start of the year. Didn't know how my injury was going to go. I had it in the diary to pencil in as my first return to run protocol. Everything had gone well and everything did go well to training, but I had missed the boat to attain a ticket. And then last week, in around Tuesday to Wednesday, an acquaintance or a mutual, more so friend of Darragh's, mutual acquaintance on my end, of a lad that I had previously met last year, Luke, had been doing a serious amount of training and unfortunately had picked up an injury through the foot, the lower limb parameters, and he had to pull out of the race. So I reached out, and in a 2-day kind of stint, I didn't want to be a bit of a smelly individual and just go boot in straight away and ask. Like, I kind of get awkward. I might portray as a very outgoing individual, but sometimes I lay up barriers, and they're not even barriers, but in my own head I was like, no, I'm not going to go boot in, I'm just going to reach out and see how he is. Reached out and never asked, and long story short, the second day I was like, here, listen, if you're willing to sell the ticket, I will give you whatever the amount of money that it is for it, and I'll take it. Fozzie kid, I don't know where we're going to go here. I don't think it would be very Polite of me to walk on the farmland. Oh, you asshole. Let's see if I can walk into the weeds here. Oh yeah, grand. Not a bother. Long story short, lads, bought the ticket on Wednesday and I ran Hellevation, the Munster Backyard Ultra as my return on a 3-day swing. Not having trained any form of consistency, just hitting random hikes of longer distances, thinking that that was my idea of my return. Some runs here and there, nothing too strenuous and too serious. And we ran the race on Saturday. So it was kind of like a bit of a full circle kind of effect, because, you know, the Barkley Marathons was my kind of introduction into like, oh, holy shit, this running thing is cool, and the Backyard Ultras are phenomenal, and here we are. Anyway, so 12th of April I ran. I finished work on the Friday evening at 10 p.m. I got up the next morning at around 7 or whatever it is, maybe 7:30. I was out the door driving to Tipperary and Grange by 8, maybe slightly later. Had a pit stop and I got into Tipperary into Thurles for around 10 o'clock. Got in there, and the lead up to all this is completely irrelevant. If we're going to be open and honest like these videos are, like, I'm so far out of shape. I'm so far out of shape, it's not even funny. I'm fat. I'm losing definition. I'm losing muscle mass. I'm playing the victim card. I'm just a bit soft in the fucking head, and the tough love approach by people isn't fucking working, and nothing's clicking in my fucking poxy head right now. And I needed to click. And yeah, that's how... This way, we're not going that way, this way. That's how I'm feeling right now. So, I had no training towards this. I'm so far unconditioned. I'm carrying excess weight that just doesn't suit me. Got down, I probably had around 2-3 coffees on board by the time I landed. Minimal water, drove for an hour and 40, rocked up. I met a friend of mine that I had not seen in years, since I probably finished IT Carlo, and I may have bumped into him. Oh jeez, I think it could have been a couple of years after, when like some of the year that I was with came up to Bray on a bit of a day trip. And that could be very fruitful. I'm not too sure if he was there. But I met Chazman for the first time in, jeez boys, 7 years. And it was like I never fucking left. It was great. So I linked up with the boys and followed Darragh and Chazman to the Grange, and we set up. And then I met another friend of mine that I had not seen, Pierce. Fucking same thing, man. Just, it was like we had never left. And it was like a little fucking reunion. It was great. It just warmed me out, coddles. You know? It was savage. And yeah. We got down there. I had brought the bare minimum in relation to fuel. I just had a bit of Star or Speed Dust Plain Jane from Alter Nutrition. Conor O'Keefe, who's sponsoring me for this. I've been using his nutrition, and I have to say the mileage that I've been doing hasn't been allocating the necessity of needing it. So I hadn't, but I had that. If the lads know and anyone knows, I love beans, so I had tins of beans, Heinz beans, fucking the dog's bollocks, lads. Ate them cold. I actually did it probably out of a bit of a joke too, because when I was in the 1 year I was in IT Carlo before I dropped out, I would eat cold tins of beans, and the lads thought that was fucking disgusting. So there's a bit of a slight joke, tongue in cheek in that. But they actually came into use because Darragh ended up using them as a protein hitting source throughout his loops and laps. But yeah, a couple of squares bars, a couple of squashies, Pepsi, and away we went. So Kind of got a bit of the butterflies, kind of got a bit nervous. It was kind of weird that I was just there and I was about to do it. I probably work better in that sense. I kind of hate knowing and then leading up. It kind of kills me. But we got to the start line, introduced myself to PJ and Tom, the founders and directors of the race. Fucking really sound lads. Really sound lads. And then there's a volunteer there, Shane, as well. And lads, it was great crack. It was actually mad. And then now in hindsight, sorry, that was on arrival, but if we're going to speak about the whole entire thing, like in hindsight, it was fucking phenomenal. Like the community down there was just mad. Like even connecting on social media, just a couple of reach outs, and it was deadly. But never ran the Grange route. Around 180, 190 meters of elevation, probably pushing to 200 per loop. And I lasted the measle of 3 on a return to my first race. So I accumulated 20.9 kilometers or 20.88 and over 500 meters of elevation. Loop 1, I just went with Darragh. So Darragh was trying to, well, I suppose show me the route. Obviously we were a bit the big group, but show me the route. And then he was giving me pointers of like, oh jeez, the words on the tip of my tongue there. Fucking pointers. What's... Like if we got to a trail and let's say we're a K in, there's like a bench. And then we got to 2.5K, there was like a fucking, you know, one of those hiking routes with the yellow or red arrows. Markers. He was trying to show me markers along the trail to say, right, well, if you get here in this time, you're sound. So we're doing that. So my first loop came in at 50 minutes. I was like, Jesus. I was like, game on here, lads. And then had the 10 minutes to spare. But what I started to do, and I shouldn't have, is that I was following everyone else, the majority. There was a minority that did what I should have done, but I followed the majority. And they pretty much just hydrated and got nutrition when they were in their little camps, and then left with having nothing. Went out on loop 2, heart rate started to tick. I could feel I was working a tiny bit more, but I got in loop 2 in 52 minutes and short change. So ideally 7 minutes of recovery. It's like, Jay's grand. But when I came back in on that one, I actually felt very parched, and I felt a bit of tightness coming through my calf, and my legs started to feel slightly heavy. I was like, well, here we go, Jacko. You know, here's the unconditioned, probably very poor hydration strategy on my end. I had not hydrated. I was 3 coffees in at that stage with minimal water intake. I was literally just chugging water there. And from the bigger guy that I am, it doesn't matter whether I'm this size or I've been at my lowest weight when I dabbled my finger in CrossFit and rugby. I just sweated profusely. And what I should have done is I should have just brought the pack with a bladder with either electrolytes or the Alter nutrition in it and just sipped away on it and a bit of fuel there. But I literally started loop number 3 out the gap, and as I opened up on the road, downhill, tarmac, and I opened up, I had to curl my toes back because my calves were cramping. And I just had to say, here, Darragh, like, listen, don't fucking feel sorry for me driving on, like, and which he did. He wasn't hanging around, but he just wanted to make sure I was good. And then we got to where you enter the trail. I was like, oh, I might turn back here, but I somehow end up feeling, all right. When I started to walk the elevation, the hills, the cramps started to kind of disappear. I was like, you know what, I'll just stick with it. See if I can kind of get a shuffle on. Long story short, did it. I was probably 2 to 3 minutes behind the first markers within the first 3K, let's say. And I know Darragh said when I got to the very point, so when I get to the incline, the first climb, I'd have to be in between like 14 to 16 minutes. I was there around 17 minutes. I was like, right, I'm behind. You get to the top where there was an honesty part of the race where you get up to the highest trail, but you've got to go out, and it was like very Barkley Marathon-esque. It was the black and yellow gate, and there's a cone in front. You either tap the gate or you just run and go around the cone. And it's the honesty part, because people obviously wouldn't accumulate the distance, and you'd probably get caught out fairly rapid because you'd be in a group. But if you got up to the very top trail, you could literally just take the right and turn and not do the out and back. Anyway, did that, and I think Darragh was kind of saying you have to be up around there between 32 minutes, and I got there at 36, and it just went downhill for me there. Just the body was like, I was gumming for water, I was, looking to rest, legs were heavy. Just starting to feel fucking sorry for myself, really. Kind of just telling myself, like, how the fuck have I allowed myself to get this far, this unconditioned, this body comp? Why the fuck am I doing it? I'm doing this thing to be a goal. And when you kind of do these things, it makes you realise actually how important nutrition and hydration is. But I go on this kind of all-in mentality bullshit, and then all of a sudden, a couple of weeks later, I'm like, oh no, back to, it'd be grand, I'm moving now. I'm consistent in my training. I can have a little treat here and there because I'm moving more now. And it's not the fucking case, but it probably doesn't help as well here. I'm making up all excuses. I'm ill-disciplined. Could it be easy for me to say, like, oh, I'm working shift work, I'm not prepping enough, I go to the vending machine and work, I'm just fucking eating. Like, there's bullshit excuses, and excuse me for doing that, but I had to get that out. I'll have to, set them aside there. I don't know what. Something will click. Like, my TikTok is full of, like, David Goggins, and I get fucking amped. And Jocko Willock, I get amped. I'm like, yeah, I'm going for it. I'm going to live the lifestyle of fucking every morning doing push-ups, sit-ups. Fucking start skipping. I'll buy a boxing bag. Get up. Start to fucking move. Do my runs that Darragh's put out. I'll become a fucking unit. Oh no. Sit in bed. Watch YouTube. Fucking eat rings around myself. Anywho. We're back on the flat down part of the trail. Got down. Got out of the Grange trail onto the road. Coming out, Foz. Out in the Grange trail onto the road. And I was at 55 minutes, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, come here. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna fucking walk it now. I'm gonna miss it. And I was like, no, Jack, get out the fuck. Started to walk. Started getting a bit of a trot. I can manage this pace. Can't cramp. Got down. When you get down to the bottom of the road, you take the left to kind of go back to the coffee coop, is where it started. I was like, oh God, going uphill now. Feeling a bit tight. Got there. I was like 57 minutes. I was like, oh, and as I opened up, it was like someone had just lined me up. Bang. Hammies. Calves. Posterior chain just fucked. I was like tennis balls in the back of my hamstrings. Every step I took, the tighter they got. I'm like, for fuck's sake. And I looked up, and there's Pierce. There's Chaz, man. Come on, Jack, come on. And I love Charlie to bits. And he does it out of jest. I hope he does it out of jest. Because if he doesn't, I'll knock the fucking head off him if he's being serious. But he, like, calls me a fat cunt. Like, I'm coming out. Excuse my language, but that's what he calls me. I'm coming out. He calls me the fat C word. And it's funny, because I am. But it's like a bit of a motivational kind of thing. And I can just hear him. He's like, come on, you fat cunt. And Pierre's like, come on, you have it. And then Darragh's girlfriend's brother, Jamie. And I really do apologise. I forget his partner's name. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I don't want to say a wrong name, so I'm just going to respect Jamie's partner and not say her name. But they were there walking because they saw me, and they're like, come on, Jack, you're there. And I was like, oh, I just can't. And I think Jamie just said, come on. And his tip axe, come on, the fuck. So I just dropped the hammer and I said, fuck it, we'll drive it. And drove in loop 3. Everyone was in the corral going for loop 4, and I rocked in on that last loop at 59 minutes and 49 seconds. As I got in, the 10-second countdown was starting to shout for the lads going back out on loop 4. And it was very funny. And I got massive cheers from all the runners and people that came in, and it was a nice buzz. And I hit the front of the line, hit it in the 10-second countdown, and I was like, I should fuck it, I'll go again for loop 4. But that was a jest, no I didn't. But in hindsight, I should have. Because the terminology of the backyard ultras, I got a DNS. I did not start. Whereas from an egotistical standpoint, I should have started loop 4 and came back and got a DNF, did not finish. It is what it is, it doesn't fucking matter. I'm happy because in hindsight for the Hellevation, I was just happy to be there. I was just happy to see the lads crew for Darragh. It was a bonus that I was able to kind of get the last minute ticket and jump in, and PJ and Tom allowing me to change and do so. I was happy that I got one loop. Would have been kind of fuming to pay 90 quid and just get 6.7 kilometres. Got second loop, really happy. Went out in the third, I'm like, it is what it is, Jack. Just under a half marathon with no training and over 500 metres of elevation. And it wasn't like it was a run that I could do 20.8k in my own time. I was confined to 60-minute windows. And if you're watching this, somehow landed on me. A backyard ultra is, I think it's like 4.187 miles, 6.7 kilometre loop. And you've got to complete that total distance within a 60-minute window in like a corral, like an area designated for start and finish. If you get your loop done in 50 minutes, you get 10 minutes recovery to refuel and replenish. Different backyards have different rules. Some allow you to bring kit out in the loop, some don't. So as in kit, like bring a vest, fuel. There's like a no litter policy if you are allowed. Some places allow you to bring poles, some places allow you to use headphones. Some backyard ultras don't. I think the Leinster, the Dublin one, Barry and John's backyard, from reading there, because they're doing theirs on May 10th, reading their description, no poles, no headphones allowed. But the one thing that all backyard ultras have is you're not allowed to have any pacers or any crews out on path or course. So that was that. That is pretty much the reflection of my Hellevation. It was a humbling experience. It really put me up shit's creek because I'm kind of getting into that frame of mind, like, oh, I'm just the bigger athlete now, but I'm not. I'm just waiting for something to click. And that's the dangerous part. I'm aware of where I am. I'm just fucking a bit soft at the moment to flip the switch. And I don't know what it is. Come on, Foz, we're going to go downhill here, kid. I don't know what it is. Could be some personal things, but I still can't use those as an excuse. But even at that, those things are fairly stressful. But the one thing that I know for sure is that when I get these runs, these walks, the gym sessions, whether I'm running on the treadmill, like I never ran the treadmill, and I run on the treadmill, I feel great afterwards. I have a form of clarity, but I just go into that frame of mind of, not going, and I need to make that first step. So here we are now. This is one of those steps. My partner's at home. She had a night out last night, so she's at home chilling, and rightly so, because she's been working the whole week. I've actually been off the last 9 days, so she's at home chilling. I was like, you know what, I can't let the rain. I've got a dog. He's a fucking a high-driven breed. He's a collie. He needs his walk, and I can't let the rain. And I also didn't get to do my first hiking group session today, so I was like, I got to get out. But Hellevation in a roundabout way is a bit of a blessing in disguise, because it put me up Schitt's Creek, and Darragh kind of reached out and we had a chat a couple of days prior to it, and just spoke and said like he's coming back on board, whatever the little nitty gritty business bits are between him and I. But he's just back on. He's like, we kind of spoke about the severity of what I'm looking to achieve. And even though I've put a lot of respect on what I'm aiming to do, I think we had to reinforce of like, you know, you've got to actually realise what the fuck you're doing. You're not just running 100k. You're running 100 miles, 160 plus kilometres. And you're not just doing it on flat jack, you're doing it over 5,000 metres of elevation in one sitting. And you're not just doing it for the crack, I'm also doing it for a charity. Not just doing it for a charity, but I'm doing it for a mental health charity. I'm doing it for one in my local town, and because of the month that we're in, I'm going to do it for November as well. But not only that, I'm not only doing it for them, I'm doing it for me. But not only am I doing it for me, I'm also doing it for Darragh. And as kind of silly as that may sound, it's his coaching brand, his coaching name behind it. And I can't fail. So I need to pull my finger out, and that's where Hellevation came in. And the start of this week, my week off, has been my first consistent week that I've had since the new year. I've pretty much done something every day. The goal for me now is just to accumulate mileage on feet, whether that be road running or treadmill, hiking or trail runs. The goal is just to get out. And if you're someone who stumbles across this and you see this and you're a runner and you're listening like, what the fuck, blah, blah, you're out of your depth, grant, whatever, go give your head a wobble there. But as I've said to you before in the eco trail thing, I'm here to challenge myself from a mental and a physical standpoint. I think from a physical, I'll be able to get myself right back into it. I know I can. It's the fucking mental. I never thought I'd say that, but from the mental perspective, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking around my shoulder because I've walked these trails many a times, but geez, the weather makes it a lot more different between fog and everything. We're in the heart of it. We're coming downhill and there's water pouring downstream. So I got to win those head battles, those mind games, and get out of it. So I ran Monday, Tuesday, hiked Wednesday, ran Thursday. Supposed to rest yesterday. I've been trying to start a hiking community for 100 miles for mental health hiking group. We were supposed to have our first outing this morning to Joust Woods, and it never happened because we were issued with a status orange rain warning, and it was bad. And I actually went on Instagram and I saw 2 people who went up to run the trails of Joust, and they were like fucking rivers, swamps. So I'm happy that I pulled the plug on it, because I wouldn't have mind doing it on my own and Fozzie, but because I was taking people with me that may have not have done trails, and then the weather, and it's like I'm not getting paid for it, it's all voluntary. I'm just kind of, we're all going for a walk, and I don't want to be, you know, the burden of something happening. So I pulled the plug. But you know, I was supposed to hike today, and I actually think in my head I've got a 4-kilometer trail run tomorrow, my first trail. So I need to double back and have a look at that, because I'm resting Monday, so I think I'm actually due a trail. So we'll see what distance I'm doing here now on this route that I've just done, and this will be my 4-kilometer trail for tomorrow. But yeah, it's been a consistent week and I'm happy, and it's just the start of it. So again, I'm sorry that this isn't long. By the time I probably finish this and, you know, say I'm sorry again, and around 36 minutes. But if you do listen and get to it, I'm not going to say I'm sorry for the duration of it, because this is what these YouTube videos are for me. Just start it, no editing, raw. If I fuck up, I fuck up. If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. It's a one take, one hit wonder, baby, one hit wonder. And yeah, that's how I'm rocking with these. So that's where I'm at openly. Hopefully I didn't share too much That's what I'm trying to, as an individual, is to learn, is not to share too much. I'm a very open individual, and sometimes I think that can be a bit of a negative flaw, so I need to take that back. Then again, come on, I'm not going down that way, you headbanger. I love chatting, and when I get chatting to people, I just fucking roll. But I think I need to start turning into a bit of a quiet body. Just keep to my small, close circles and people that I would know of. Don't say too much. And let's see if we can figure that out here on YouTube as well. But that's where I'm at from my training perspective, from me on a personal level. If anyone does care, don't you fucking worry about me. There's no point to reach out. I am good, lads. Just I'm learning life in the later stages. You know, you might have your adolescent learnings of a young teenager into your youthful 20s, but those things are beginning to happen to me in my late 20s, coming into my 30s, and by God, I tell you something, oh, come on, Jacko. I'm actually going to move that. That shouldn't be there. Bit of barbed wire. That's game over. Yeah, we're good there. Alright, maybe I'm head first in that. Right, barbed wire out of the way. There's one thing for sure. These last couple of months before I have my birthday in July, when I turn 30, 30 is the year it changes on a positive standpoint for me. Has to. And I'm going to manifest that. But yeah, I'm good. Just shit's happening that I should have dealt with years ago, and it's coming back now, and I didn't fucking deal with it. So it's a stressor, and it just needs to be fucking capped and copped the fuck on. So it is what it is. And yeah, training's going to take a turn. It's going to be a big battle. I've got to get out of old habits. I've got to get out of just emotionally eating the wrong things. Go back to mindful eating, high dense, high protein fruit. Fuck off eating, takeaway here and there. Takeaway here and there is going to be a takeaway near enough fucking 3 times a week. And I might not eat them for the rest of the day because I know I've had one. Sure, that's even more detrimental. So, but it is what it is. Here we are. But yeah, lads, lassies, I'm going to wrap it up now. That's that done. Next one, I don't know when it will be. I don't know what I have. There's a couple of things in the pipeline that I want to do. The weekend of July 18th, 19th, something like that, is going to be the next biggest venture in training and running. I don't want to say it yet because I have to see how we go first, but hopefully I might link in back to YouTube here shortly, soon. There's around 39 minutes that I hope my phone capacity will be able to fucking upload on YouTube. And I do apologise for the swearing profusely on this. I know marking saying this isn't suitable for under 18s on YouTube is not enough, but if I have family members that get this far and they look and listen, or they listen to the first 5 minutes of it and then start to reach out to me on social media, stop your cursing, go fuck yourself, and this is who I am. Oh yeah. So it is what it is. But we're in the heart of it now. Fozzie's looking at something that... Where are you going? You don't want to go in there, do you? Do you want to have a look in that field? Look, here, look, get back. Look. Do you want to go in there? In here, look, I've just opened the hole here. I don't know why he wanted to go in there. Anyway, here we are now. Over and out, lads and lassies. Catch you on the next one.